had shit to show, being modest. Now it's grams of the wax for my conscience. Bron James in LA, you're on college. I've been jumping on them planes like a hobby. Still moving with the pack like my partners. Hit the John on them jets cause you wildin'. But the bowl is a party on the island, moment of silence. So good, get back to the topic. Grew up, it was me and Flocka. Grandma's and Big T, this my mama. I ain't even for the pain when my pots flip. Knew his name, that's it, never bothered. Mom said, you the man, son, you got this. Ever since I found a way to go and pop shit. Hold up, blaze through a whole zip. Took a seat at the table of my first flip. Days in red roof for my first whip. Split the money with the gang, never post pics. Seen a change in the game, had to coach it. Never let them take my wangs on the mold, bitch. Ever made in a month, nigga. Used to serve him at the minute just to front, nigga. Goddamn. Had to grow up quick, I made my own rules. Had my first child, got it jumping with music. Can't really hang with nobody who losing. I thought by now that you would go and get it, but I could hardly see niggas as distant. Know you get cropped if you not in the picture. And I made that tag and went got a bag. Shots to the Henny and OG prescriptions, put rebel shit on the map. Took a leap from where I started at. Started ballin' now I'm Chris Paul and Cass. Got him steady calling for the mold, but I'm on a roll, gotta call him back. And that's all fact.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. All carry-on items should now be stowed securely, either in an overhead bin or under the seat in front of you. All aisles, exits, and bulkhead areas should now be clear. All electronic devices should now be turned off and stowed, as they may interfere with the aircraft's navigational and communication systems. Once airborne, we'll let you know when you may use approved electronic devices, but note that some items may not be used at any time during the flight. You'll find a list of approved devices in the in-flight information section.
Welcome everyone to another edition of the Pocket Locker Podcast. I am your host with the most, all the way from the East Coast. And as always, good people, I am in airplane mode. Cheers, gang. Hope you're all doing well. Hope everybody's having a good weekend, having a good Sunday, all that bullshit. All right, let's go ahead and jump into it. We rocking with Shayna today. We gonna talk. We gonna talk about that Bible. Everybody want to be out here doing Bible studies. Everybody want to be out here doing Bible studies. Nigga, we can study the Bible. Nigga, what you ain't know what it is? You thought y'all thought y'all was the only one that can study that Bible. Where my Bible at? I got a Bible around here somewhere. Where my Bible at? You know I hate that fucking book. You know I hate that book. I think my Bible's still in storage. I got about 4 Bibles. I hate it. I'll rip your Bible up. You better ask about me. I will rip that Bible up and throw it in the trash. But I got a couple of my own just for when I need the fuel. Okay, we can pick and choose. We can study the Bible.
Happy Sunday. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the story of Job. I feel like a lot of people have been bringing up different elements of scripture. A lot of people have been on their deconstruction and reconstruction journeys. And with what is going on in the U.S. right now, in the world right now, I do feel inspired to talk about Job. So let's do this as a deconstruction Bible study, if you will. I will not be...
Okay, now automatically pause the tape. This is the part that's so critical to me. She said, given everything that's going on. This is the problem with people. And like, honestly, it's the problem in this country. Listen, I can tell you right now, America's a cult. It is a cult of Christianity. I don't give a fuck. It's like 1,000,001 flavors. More flavors than the motherfucking bag of Skittles. Like, and everybody gets to pick a different flavor, so nobody's wrong because everybody has their own fucking flavor and their flavor's fine. And the problem's all the other flavors of Christianity that taste all the way fucked up. But trust me, theirs would be sweet on that motherfucking palate. And so there's no motion, there's no ability to seize this moment because basically Christian nationalism is destroying the country. It has been for a very long time. That's how most of us who really know what time it is, like, that's why we ain't tripping. Honestly, the real ones that know what's really going on in this country and know who America really is, understand that ain't shit changed. Ain't nothing but a Tuesday in the middle of February. Sorry, a Sunday in the middle of February, 2026. Ain't a damn thing changed. Okay, it ain't a damn thing changing. Okay, because yes, the Christian far right nationalist shit is destroying this country and arguably the world. But what else is new? What else is new? What else is new? And the country's solution isn't to finally unchristianize. It isn't to confront this Christian bullshit, call it what it is, and move the fuck on and keep it pushing. It is instead to have a motherfucking religious revival. It is to have a motherfucking reawakening of Christian consciousness. We are literally trying to defeat Christian nationalism with Mo Christianity. If I'm lying, I'm dying. So I'm sitting here like, y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all ain't doing shit. Y'all ain't doing shit. You ain't done shit. You ain't doing shit, and you ain't about to do shit. Okay, so miss me with the bullshit. But what I love about what she said is because for rational human beings like myself and most of y'all, for normal motherfuckers that don't live in the world, that don't have a worldview diluted by fairy tales, we understand this is your motherfucking time. We understand you got the motherfucking secret police rounding up everybody. They were supposed to just be rounding up the dangerous illegal immigrants. They rounding up everybody. The illegal immigrant, American citizen, child, really doesn't matter. Pew-pewing innocent white folks. Again, they've been pew-pewing innocent black and brown folks forever. So we like, we don't know what you think. What you think? You think all of a sudden this country gonna change? Like, it's just not gonna happen. You got motherfucking the whole Epstein class just basically just mimicking what the Catholic Church does. Just moving around bodies, reassignment people, nothing to see here. What do you mean? No, there was nothing. No, there was nothing. No, what you? Are you still talking about that? No, nothing to see here. Nothing happened. We got the wars going on. We kidnapping presidents from other countries. We literally just rolled to a whole ass other country, snatched up their actual president and just brought him back as a keepsake. I don't. Again, but for me, again, all you got to do is roll back that clock. I don't need to go back 2,000 years. I don't need to go back 200 years. I don't need to go back 50 years. I'm going to just go back 5 years. Do you remember 2020 in that thing called the pandemic? Whoo, boy, did they show their ass during that pandemic. Boy, they showed their ass during that pandemic, and it got hundreds of thousands of Americans killed. I'm just saying that off the fact we know over 1 million people died. No matter what we did, it was going to be a lot of people that died because we just were not ready to handle that. I don't know why. Everybody was basically told, stay the fuck home. They're not allowed to evict you. Stay the fuck home. Stay away from people. Keep it pushing, order takeout. And motherfuckers lost their minds. People like me, we were like, I thought you'd never ask. I thought you'd never what? Stay away from these motherfuckers to save the planet? Oh, count me in. Call me Captain Planet. He's a hero, taking human contact down to 0. Yeah, I'm nice like that. All right, so and then January to the motherfucking 6th. The motherfuckers stormed the Capitol for real. Were like shitting all over the motherfucking. Oh, sorry, they were shitting all over their hands and then wiping it all over the statues. They was about to snatch up whatever that lady's name is, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, her. They was literally about to hang the vice president, all while singing Christian worship hymns. So she's right, y'all, and it really speaks to my heart because that's the message here on this fucking channel. Motherfuckers need to have some urgency. You need to wake the fuck up and realize Christianity is actively destroying the fucking world around you and decide to do something about it. And the number one thing you should fucking do about it is tell these motherfuckers it's not true. Cause that's how you take the power away. So I've been trying to break this all the way down because I have to understand what's going on with me. Like why is this shit just driving me so crazy? And I'm starting to piece it together. It's a few things. One is the urgency. It's like, what is it gonna take? How bad does shit have to get? And the answer that I'm seeing is there's no limit. There's nothing. There's nothing. Like I've always known that there was nothing. Don't get me wrong. I've always known that there was nothing. I've said it plenty of times on this channel. Christians just want to be Christians. And the same shit applies for other religions. I just talk about Christianity because I live in America and that's who's fucking me all the way up over here in America right now. So, but I feel the same way about all the other religions. These people just want to believe their bullshit. It's not about facts. It's not about what's true. That's why showing them evidence that the shit is true is a waste of time. That's why it doesn't do anything, because they don't care if it's true or not. They've never cared if it's true or not. It's not about morality and values, because again, you can show them how evil it is. They see all the evil done in the name of their religions. They know the motherfuckers know the shit don't work too, right? That's the other thing, is like, it's so clear and obvious that like Christianity doesn't work. Like you could keep saying that every single person that's evil isn't doing Christianity right, but point to me somebody that's doing Christianity right. See, that's the thing they never want to do. Go ahead and put your motherfucking money on it. Go ahead and put your money on it. Y'all bullshit too much for me. Put some motherfucking money on it. Let's like for real. Let's put some money on it. Ain't gotta be life-changing money, but let's put $50 on it. Let's put $100 on it. Now I'm gonna let you tell me who the good Christian is. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let you give me 5. Give me your whole ass starting 5. Give me your top 5. Give me the best Christians. And then I get to spend 5 minutes with each of your best Christians. And I can ask them whatever I want. And I get to determine if their Christianity is really working. Not you. You don't get the tone police. You don't get nope. All that happens is I get 5 minutes to ask whatever I want, and they have to answer that. They gotta put that hand on that Bible and swear to answer honestly. How long you think it's really gonna take before I find something that's fucking either evil and fucked up that they are doing in their lives, or some evil and fucked up shit that they believe as a result of their faith? How long you think it's really gonna take me? Most of y'all who know me understand not even 30 seconds. Don't fuck with me. So the question is, why doesn't Christianity work? Why aren't Christians actually honest? Why aren't y'all actually faithful to your partners? Why aren't y'all actually good? Why aren't you actually shepherds of the earth? Why don't you actually try to save lives? Why don't you actually sacrifice your comfort so that other people could have the basic necessities of life? Why are Christians actually not, free of political corruption? Why are you not power hungry? Why doesn't your shit work? Why doesn't it work? Why? I'm serious. I'm dead ass. Why does it not work? Because I could let y'all always say we cherry picking the Christians. We just saying this person over here, they ain't really a Christian. This person over here, they ain't got the right thing. No, nigga, I'm gonna let you pick the motherfucking Christians. Anyway, to us normal motherfuckers, there's a sense of urgency, y'all. There's a sense of we need to get the shit popping right now. And if you're not going to get serious about it now, then you're just not serious. And then on top of the urgency, there's a desperation, because it's like we can see the world could be a better place. We can see the humanism. We understand what a great advances to modern life science has been, and we would love to go all hands on deck in solving some of the bigger challenges that remain. We want to make. There's so many things that we want to be a universal human right. There's so many oppressed people that we're just fucking tired of seeing all the goddamn oppression every fucking day. We're sick of the fucking wars. We're goddamn tired of the motherfucking capitalist exploitation. Like, we just wore the fuck out, y'all. We beat the fuck down. We worn the fuck out. We broke as shit. We working 2 jobs, or we working a job in the motherfucking gig economy, or we stringing together 3-4 gigs just to make fucking ends meet, or motherfuckers is trying to live off, they disabilities, or they government safety net, but now the conservatives and got the safety nets all fucked up. So now, you know what I'm saying, people we supposed to be taking care of can't make ends meet and shit. Like, we just tired of this shit, man. We're so tired of this shit, man. So that's where she's coming from. I just don't want us to skip over it. It's important what she's saying when she says, given everything that's going on right now, god damn. I want to hear her say it again.
Us right now, in the world right now. In the scripture, a lot of people have been on their deconstruction and reconstruction journeys. And with what is going on.
With what is going on
in the US right now, in the world right now, I do feel inspired to talk about Job. So let's do this as a deconstruction Bible study, if you will. I will not be reading the entire book. I will be reading large segments.
Shout out to the chat. Appreciate y'all for coming through. What's up, PC? What's up, Kyle? Love y'all. Love y'all. What's up, gang? Oh, there's my Valentine. Look at the trees. Your trees had me rolling. Trees had me rolling. Are you Charlie Kirk? Because you make me want to take my shot. Oh, I needed that. Trees' posts are the best. See, I've officially decided, y'all, I should come out of the closet right now. I have a new sexual orientation. My sexual orientation is none. My sexual orientation is solo. My sexual orientation is people are gross. So now, if I'm gonna fuck with you, if I'm gonna have a crush on you, I need the memes. I need you to make me laugh. I need to feel your energy. Okay. And in order to break the solo bubble. But trees be having me rolling. So I asked Trees to be my Valentine. What's up, Jake? I see you. Appreciate you. It's good to see y'all. All right, let's go ahead and get into this.
And posing my thoughts. I would be interested in your thoughts also. Let's dive in. Let's start at the very beginning. In the land of Uz, there was a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned the devil. Now, a bunch of people say, oh, there's so many other ways that feared could be described. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's terrified. And I would say, oh, okay, sure. Like people say, oh, feared could be respected. It could be honored. But the more that we read, the more I think that Job was literally just terrified. Let us discuss more.
What's that,
he
Bill?
had 7 daughters and 3 sons, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys. And he had a large number of servants. We will be diving more into this in a second. He was the greatest man among all the people in the East. His sons would hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them.
Okay, this is a thing that only the Bible can do, where, like, they go so far out of their way to tell you, like, this is the best person ever. They were amazing. They didn't deserve any of this. like they were truly, like a saint, as we would say these days. And then make a point of God fucking with them. Like, I mean, literally, Jesus is the ultimate example of that. Like, nobody talks about it because we're in a cult. But it's, again, if people just spent even a second thinking about it, it would immediately have you realizing like how fucked up the Bible is. Because again, most of us, when we think about great people, you know, we understand that bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. But generally speaking, we think good people deserve good things. And if we could do things our way, you know, being a good person would merit good things happening to you. But God is so desperate to make sure that everybody bends the knee and that everybody understands there's nobody that's above getting this ass whooping. The Bible just goes out of its way to say like, oh no, you think you found a good man? And think about, again, it's 2026, especially men. You know, men are fucking dangerous. You know, it's why God created hormones, right? God created hormones because without hormones, women would choose the bear. Women would choose the bear, and there'd be no humans because there'd be no sexual reproduction. So in order to have sexual reproduction, God had to create hormones so that women's bodies betray them and make them think it's safe to be alone in a room with a man. I mean, that's clearly biblical. So finally, the Bible's like, yes, I created this monstrous class of half the human race called males, and now they're all the way fucked up, obviously, but he found a good one. You know, you finally find one that's actually safe, that's actually a decent human being. And God's like, nah, I gotta fuck him all the way up too. It's so weird.
When a period of feasting had run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Okay, it sounds like they're all just having a fun time, and Job, fearing the Lord, says, oh my gosh, they had so much fun. They're all just celebrating with their siblings. Like, clearly they need to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. Sounds like Job had anxiety. Sounds like Job feared the Lord, and sounds like Job was regularly offering blood sacrifices to God, who, as we know, loves a blood sacrifice, loves when things die.
Yeah, and again, there's so much that we don't talk about with this fucked up ass book because there's not enough time. But yeah, like, gang, again, it's the year 2026, and I have grown ass people that want me to consider the desire of a deity that everybody was sacrificing animals to. And again, every time you push back on these people, you get the interpretive bullshit. It's all metaphorical. It's all about the message, the purpose. And again, what is the message and the purpose? It all comes back down to Jesus. What was Jesus supposed to be? He was supposed to be the lamb. So God was like, no, I need a extra special lamb. I need like a fucking, you know, I'm getting tired of the all the lambs and all the animals, the chickens. Why was everybody sacrificing? Yeah, I know. I said you got to sacrifice to me, but you know, I'm getting tired of all these animals. Like I want a bigger sacrifice. I want a bloodier sacrifice. Something that'll last forever. Something that'll really show me how much you care. So so let's sacrifice my son. Again, I'm gonna have him born perfect, never sins, never even said the wrong thing. Everything he said has to be documented in red letters because everything he said was just so fucking amazing. But I had to sacrifice him. Again, what is Jesus called? The what? The Lamb of God. You guessed it. The Lamb of God. So yeah. And again, like, This is what we need to talk to people about. We need to, like, when they start telling you bless this and holy that and Jesus, whatever, however the fuck these people talk, hit them with that. Like, why? Like, why do you worship this being that apparently needed all this sacrifice? And why do you want to be a sacrifice? Because again, like, all that love shit, all that shit about love and grace and God's gonna save you and ease your troubles and take away your pain, all that's a fucking sales pitch. All of that is the motherfucking sales pitch. And if you don't know the difference between the sales pitch and the motherfucking reality, then find the fuck out. It is a map of narcissism. Christianity is textbook narcissism. And I know all of y'all that understand narcissistic abuse, y'all already know, and you feel it, because I know you feel it in your motherfucking nervous system. I know your motherfucking spine tingles when we start talking about that narcissistic shit. But you know the pattern. It's the love bombing, followed by the what? The devaluation, followed by the what? The motherfucking discard. Okay? And that is the messaging of religion. They start with the love bombing. You're special. God planned out the whole universe and the whole motherfucking unfolding of the goddamn solar system. It was all just so he could become human, so he could fucking die for you, so that you don't have to fucking die because you're special, so you can have eternal life. Right? It's just building you up like you are just this fucking special fucking child that just, you are the golden child. Like you deserve all the things. Okay. And then once they get you in, it's like, gotcha, bitch. And then it's like, oh no, but you've got to dedicate your life to him. Like you're fucking it all the way up. Like you're still sinning, like you're still having impure thoughts, you're still associated with people who are non-believers, who are unequally yoked. So you got to cut off all the people that are not us. Like you're what? You said you went out to dinner with your husband? What kind of fucked up shit is that? Are you not making God the head of your finances? Like it's never enough. And so then it's like you're worthless, you know, and actually you deserve hell. And actually you're never giving God enough. You're never serving hard enough. Okay? And then heaven forbid you should actually take up for yourself. Heaven forbid you should actually start questioning. Heaven forbid you should actually step away from the fucking abusive, psychotic shit. They just move the fuck on. You were never truly one of us. You were never a true believer. You never had the true heart of God. Motherfuckers don't understand narcissism is like, that's what else do you want us to tell you? Like, we're trying to tell you, like, that's not just like, oh, I don't know, maybe it might be a little bit narcissistic. No. It is literally textbook narcissism. It's like, if you don't recognize narcissism in that pattern, then don't ever use the word narcissism again, because it just doesn't fucking mean anything. But if it means any goddamn thing, it means that. Okay? So stop playing it. So this is what I'm saying. People play in your face like as though you can't see how fucked up and abusive it is. And it's like, I'm just not with it. So again, like, how people think they're gonna fight against Christian nationalism without dealing with the inherent falseness of the Christian religion itself and the way that its narcissistic patterning creates the fucking culture problems that we see. It's like, you're just not serious. You're just not serious.
It's like was set up from the beginning with the whole Cain and Abel situation. So he's like, oh, okay, just in case my kids had too much fun, let me just kill a couple things, just in case.
Hey, Patty.
Like nothing bad extra happens to them. Let us continue on. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth." And the
But
Lord
see,
said to Satan,
Patty, this is what I'm about. But yeah, I don't think these two things can exist together. I always speak for a world that works for all of us in the best way I know how, humans united for mutual survival. I agree, but religion is not compatible with that. I had a very interesting back and forth with ChatGPT about this, because it was basically asking me about this. Like, it was asking me, like, if I got rid of religion, like, if I could snap my fingers and get rid of religion, like, what would I replace it with? And I was like, the truth, the truth, the truth in our history. In our history, literally being able to point to all the dark times, all the bullshit, all the conflict, all the war, and then us having to fucking see the better world that we want to live in and then make that fucking world. The reality of that shit would hit so fucking hard. That's what would give us hope, meaning, and purpose. We would enjoy the material benefit of healthcare as a human right and feeling free because you nobody goes broke over hospital bills anymore. That's a thing of the past. There's no such thing as illiterate children because education is a human right. K through 16, meaning everybody got a right to go to college. Matter of fact, K through 16, fuck all that. We K through 20. We K through 20. There's public free options all the way through grad school up in this bitch. You ain't got to stop at an undergrad. You can go ahead and get your fucking master's for free up in this bitch. Okay? We've made housing a human right. I sleep easy at night because I go to bed full, not hungry, resting peacefully in my home. And I know that we've decided that no child in this world should go to bed hungry and not having a safe place to rest their head. Will the world be perfect? No, but we're going to be really making that bitch better. People think we're so fucking pessimistic. We're not fucking pessimistic. We're fucking optimistic. We're just tired of waiting. We're tired of fucking waiting. We see this right now. We see religion is bullshit. It doesn't bring real harmony. We want real harmony. We want the real shit. And that's what I said. It's like, actually it's funny because I compared it to being in a relationship with a narcissist. I said, yeah, when I left the relationship with a narcissist, yeah, I mourned for the loss of the relationship and I mourned for, the future that we could have had, all that shit. If you look into narcissistic, people who survive narcissistic relationship, we all mourn the same shit. So whatever you read they went through, that's what the fuck I went through. But you eventually realize that the relationship wasn't real. The person was love bombing you and shit. And the love bombing phase felt good, but the actual relationship with the person was fucking terrible and was miserable and you hated it and you weren't happy. You weren't happy at all because the relationship was fucking terrible. So the relationship that you are wishing for, the relationship that you're missing never fucking existed. The person that you think you're that was a fucking mask. The person that you thought you were, that was a mask. That's not the real person. The real person is the narcissist that abused you and made you feel like trash. So when you realize that, you don't fucking miss them. You don't miss them because there was nothing, they didn't offer you anything. So since they didn't offer you anything legitimate, there's nothing fucking miss. And you realize the same thing about religion. Like it wasn't real. So who gives a fuck if it promised me heaven? There's no such fucking thing. Who gives a fuck if it promised me hope, meaning, and perfect? It was a made up fucking story that offered the hope, meaning, and purpose. And so when you realize that, you realize, fuck a religion. That shit ain't offering you a goddamn thing. So we gonna replace it with some real shit. And then we have the truth. We are all one human race. We do share an origin story. You don't got to believe that creation story bullshit in the Bible, but if you look at the real story, the best part of that is actually true. We are one human fucking race. We're all one big ass family that came out of Africa. Power to the people. That's fucking beautiful. We are part of this beautiful cosmos shit. And we can fucking turn this global warming shit around. We can motherfucking save the trees. We can save the goddamn panthers. And we can save the goddamn babies in Haiti that look like me. That's who the fuck we are. We can come up with fucking vaccines and fucking supercomputers, and if we have to, a motherfucking rocket ship, so we could get the fuck off this planet, bring some of the menagerie with us, so us and our animal and plant friends can keep it rocking on another planet if we motherfucking have to. That's what the fuck is gonna make us feel all right. We're gonna replace the bullshit with the real shit. We're just tired of waiting.
Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, and a man who fears God and shuns evil. So Job was out here just casually being an anxious father and thinking, oh, okay, well, if I do enough right, I could at least protect my kids. If I kill enough things, at least God will protect my kids. And then God goes, and mind you, Satan didn't ask a thing about this man. And I guess like all of the angels or ex-angels included have to go present themselves for the Lord. And he's just like, look, God's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just chilling, walking around, roaming back and forth. And then God says, hey, have you ever considered ruining somebody's life? This person who has crippling anxiety. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. And honestly, great question. Great question. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed his work, the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds spread throughout the land.
And yo, the funny thing is, like, God's literally like consorting with the devil. Like, God and the devil are getting together, and the devil is literally like influencing God. Like, the devil low key is like playing God. Devil low key is be like, yo, you gonna let him talk to you like that? The devil's like, yo, does Job fear God for nothing? And God's like, yeah, good point. I should fuck him all the way up, huh? Yo, it's so funny. Christians, y'all supposed to rebuke the devil. Y'all supposed to not let the devil influence you. You're supposed to resist the devil. But God himself was like, no, you got a point there, Satan. Gang, this shit just don't make no kind of fucking sense. How do fucking people believe this shit? And it's a good question to ask Christians too, because they're of a mixed mind. It's battered spouse. We all know it's battered spouse syndrome, but they really do fear this God, like they're so afraid. And of course, they supposedly fear him because he's going to sit in judgment and fuck them all the way up. But then at the same time, they turn around and it's love, 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 and I love this God and da-da-da-da-da. Okay, well then, why don't you just live your life and do what you want and, thrive, be yourself. And again, it's straight back to the fear of the torment and the punishment. So it's just such an abusive relationship.
But now you stretch out your hand to strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. Like, he's just like, oh, like, why are you telling me to go, like, to consider this guy? You've been protecting him, and like, I feel that I don't understand. The Lord said to Satan, very well then, everything he has is in your power, but on the man himself do not lay a finger.
So again, Satan comes to him and is like, yo, this Job is a good one. This Job is a good one. And then God literally hands over Job's life to Satan. And basically he's like, hey, do what you want, man. But you know what? Just don't kill the actual man. Whatever else, you know what I mean? Like, he's been kind of cool, so don't fuck him all the way up. But hey, whatever else you want to do, you can do. Like, and again, I just don't understand how people are still wanting to treat this like it's so reasonable. And this is the thing too. Like, for me, I got to be honest with you, it just comes down to cultural supremacy. It just comes down to cultural hegemony. It just comes down to the whites. Like it really does. Because again, if we were somewhere else, it's like that map you always see, right? You always see that map that basically says where you're born determines what religion you are. So if we lived in an Islamic state, an Islamic part of the world, we probably live in an Islamic state, right? A lot of these Islamic countries, they're like actual theocracies or some, fake ass hybrid between some sort of representational government and a theocracy, right? And Americans understand damn well from our perspective over here in the West how fucked up that is. Like they would never think that it's okay. And tell them, go live in Saudi Arabia. Do people think that like just because other countries are dominated by other religions that like everybody's fucking miserable? Like I think Americans have this idea in their head that like all the rest of the world is fucking miserable. Like, bro, go to Saudi Arabia. They love Americans over there. They got all your shit. They got all the brands. They got all the stores. They got all the goddamn sporting events. Like, go over there. And like Americans are so easy to dismiss that. Like they just think that shit. They think clearly on its face value. Like, fuck that, right? But again, they have no problem having our lives over here dominated by Christianity. And the same works in reverse. Like clearly, like if you're a fucking Muslim, like you're probably like, yeah, fuck that Christian nationalist bullshit. But you may be more sympathetic to Islamic regimes. And it's just a fact of life that like people recognize how scary it would be, or at least like undesirable it is to have a nation state that is heavily identified with a particular religion that is not theirs. But people are also remarkably comfortable totally ignoring all of that when it's their culture. And so I just think that like I'm very serious when I say that this country is a cult. I know people think I'm being hyperbolic. I'm not being hyperbolic in any way, shape, or form. Is it officially a single cult? Don't know, don't care. I'm talking about the effect. The effect is that as a nation, we are beholden to doctrinal commitments about Christianity to the extent that they function effectively as like cultural theology. And so whether you're a Christian or not, you have to live with a social environment that is constantly constructed through a Christian framework, where Christianity is given what we call like epistemic privilege. Like anybody else's dogma, anybody else's doctrine, no, that's myth, that's fake, that's sitting on some bullshit. We're not with that. We don't fuck with the Jews. I know a lot of them are Zionists, but they're only Zionists because they think that it'll bring about, the sort of Christian end game. They use Israel to bring about the Christian end game, okay? In reality, they're anti-Semitic. We all know this. In reality, they're Islamophobes. We all know this. At the end of the day, they think spiritual woo-woo is sitting on some bullshit. They don't believe in karma. They don't believe in fucking any other religious concepts, okay? So they're comfortable saying, oh, that's bullshit. But somebody says Jesus is Lord, and you say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Are you serious? You're the bad guy. You're too political. You're too extreme. You're not respecting their culture. You're not respecting their heritage. And the blase and the flavonoids, they get to clutch their pearls, and they're all offended. You basically can't be elected to public office in this country if you're not a Christian. Don't fucking point to the exception. Don't tell me there's 3 trans representatives and 4 members of Congress are Muslims, and there's 2 atheists in the state house. All you're doing is pointing out the fucking exceptions that prove the rule. If your dumbass does not know the difference between a functional de facto monopoly and a literal monopoly, then you are such a literalist fucking dumbass that I genuinely don't want you watching my channel anymore. Cause that shit pisses me off. Like when you really, cause again, you gotta remember, I'm a sociologist and I teach sociology instructor, but I am legitimately a biological anthropologist and an evolutionary biologist, and so I think in terms of populations. And so when you think in terms of populations and motherfuckers think they can point to individuals as a way to defeat the clear and obvious trends of the population, it's just so irritating. You literally want to throw them off a bridge. So fuck out of my face with that shit. You basically cannot get elected into the government unless you're a fucking Christian. Which means everybody other than Christians are living under no taxation without representation. So think about that. The fucking reason d'etre for this motherfucking country, the fucking motivation, the thing that made them motherfuckers get on them motherfucking boats and cross the goddamn ocean and say, fuck this, we are out of here, is because they refused to live in a situation where they were being taxed but not represented. But imagine if my black ass said, I am being taxed, but I am not being represented. I don't feel like paying my taxes. Yeah, I'd be in jail in a heartbeat. So again, if you are not Christian, you literally are living in a situation where you are being taxed, but you are not being represented. But nobody gives a shit. Because again, Christian cultural hegemony. And then look at the leadership. The motherfuckers who are in law and in power, whose job it is to enforce the laws and protect society, when it turns out those motherfuckers are literally running a billionaire pedophile ring with potentially stuff going on with children that is even worse than pedophilia, how is that shit responded to? Just like it is in the church. Just like it is in the church. And just like it is in the church, when they get people fueled up and hopped up on some bullshit like COVID, what do motherfuckers do like they did with Renee Good and Alex Preddy? They're out in the streets, they're motherfucking protesting, just like Christians were during COVID, right? Motherfuckers all of a sudden wanted to protest, but they wanted to protest the lockdowns. They wanted to protest the mask mandates. They wanted to protest against Black Lives Matter. But the Epstein files drop. Where are the protests? Where are the preachers? Where are the churches? Again, y'all know we didn't do it, but I really wish we did this social experiment. Let me just show you what I mean. Let me just show you what I mean when I talk about the social experiment, because I actually showed this to my students. I actually showed this to my fucking students in class this week. Where are we gonna start? Oh, let me lay this out for y'all, how I laid it out for them, so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Because the shit is very obvious. And y'all have seen this before, but I'm gonna show it to you in a way that hopefully you're gonna be like, oh, this is the pattern he's talking about. But y'all have seen it, but I'm gonna just show y'all real quick. It's so easy. All right, so this is the Answers in Genesis website, okay? And they post almost every day. They post all the goddamn time. So I want people to understand something. We're not cherry picking. We literally are at their website right now, right? So this is the shit they have on their page today, okay? So let's start here, because this is what I showed my students.
There's a difference between a good idea and a God idea. You will only discover what that is through prayer and seeking Him. There is a difference between a good idea and a God idea. You need ideas that God's hand is on. for your churches, for your ministries, even for your families. People throw in ideas at us all the time, but guys, there's a difference between a good
All right, so so you start with like, okay, that's some standard Christian bullshit, right? Like, oh, everything's got to be biblical, everything's got to be godly. But it's really important my students assess this. Why? Because it's Answers in Genesis, right? So Answers in Genesis is known for creationism, right? They're trying to get creationism in the classroom, creationism in the schools, and people tend to think like, oh, they're just being silly Christians that are, they just want to teach the Bible, or they just want everybody to believe God created us. And yes, they are. But you have to understand what they're really trying to do is get rid of science. They're trying to get rid of empiricism. They're trying to get rid of all of it because they want everybody to be subjected to a biblical worldview. So you got to understand that it isn't just a matter of competing scientific theories. It's a matter of them literally wanting to replace science altogether with focus on divine revelation. But that's fine. Okay. So far, nothing too crazy, just some preacher telling us we got to think about good. All right. Well, then here's Ken Ham. Ken Ham's actually the head of Answers in Genesis. What the fuck is he talking about?
People want to know what drives us, especially in a world with social media where everyone's looking for the next.
No, we're not. Sorry, I don't know. I went to like the next thing somehow or whatever. Here, let's do this. Boop.
Many people believe the Garden of Eden was in the Middle East because the Tigris and Euphrates rivers are mentioned as flowing from Eden. But today's Tigris and Euphrates don't match the description of the rivers of Eden. So why do they have the same names? Well, Noah's flood completely reworked the surface of the earth, leaving Noah and his family with a totally different world after the flood. But they probably reused names from the old world as they named things in the new world, just like people did when they left England and came to America. So ultimately, where was the Garden of Eden? We just do not know.
All right, so just absolutely ridiculously silly fucking nonsense, right? Like just the worst type of silly shit. People really ask us all the time, well, where was the Garden of Eden? Well, we don't know because the world was just remade after Noah's flood and things were so different. And the Tigris and Euphrates that we have now is not the same as the Tigris and the Euphrates that we had before the flood right? And so I'm trying to show them that like they're not just attacking biology. They're attacking biochemistry, they're attacking physics, they're attacking geology, like they're attacking the whole scientific fucking enterprise. And if they have their way, these are the type of questions we'd be asking. Notice they don't put up, the latest fucking and greatest fucking scientific hypotheses that we should be debating. No, we should be trying to figure out where the fuck the Garden of Eden was. So this is the type of silly shit, but you think, okay, so Ken Ham is the head of the creation organization and he's got this silly shit and what a fucking dumbass. But then let's look at their other short. Let's look at the short from the day before. Let's see what their previous short was about. Oh, was Bad Bunny right about this? What the fuck does Bad Bunny have to do with creationism versus evolution? What the fuck does this Bad Bunny shit have to do with science? What are you talking about?
People want to know what drives us, especially in a world with social media.
Oh my God, why does it keep trying to play the fucking new fucking short? Like, gross.
So let's talk about that halftime show. Did you guys watch it with Bad Bunny? Well, if you didn't, basically at the end, he has this big old crescendo, and in the background is a sign that says, the only thing more powerful than hate is love. And friends, he is so right and so wrong at the same time. He's so wrong because his definition of love is wrong. Based on what he says and how he acts and what he supports, he has a secular definition of love.
The only thing that is more powerful
So
than
notice-
hate is love.
Which is basically to tolerate, affirm, and celebrate.
When he says what he loves
so
and
wrong because
supports.
his definition of love is wrong. Based on what he says and how he acts and what he supports.
Right, so there's clearly pictures of him. First off, when he talks about love, they deliberately show him gyrating and dancing.
On what he says. And
Mind you, they're about to launch an investigation into the Bad Bunny performance because it was so sexual or whatever, because the dancing and the gyrating. So they show him here, red, like this all red kind of, I guess, femmed up outfit. Who gives a fuck? Like, that man, the number one pop star in the world, baby. Do your Madonna, baby. Do yo Madonna, baby.
Now
Get
that's
it.
what he supports. He has
All right, so then they show him in a pink dress, right? So it's very clear, right? It's because he's bisexual, and clearly he supports the L to the B to the G to the T to the Q to the I to the A to the plus to the Q to the U to the E to the E to the R to the all that good stuff, okay? we're here with all of it, okay? We fucking love it, but this guy is, woo, is he
a
pissed.
secular definition of love,
The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love.
which is basically to
Not to mention, this man has to wear a bodysuit. I found out he was wearing a bodysuit during that award show, and he was, sorry, not a bodysuit, a bulletproof vest. He was wearing a bulletproof vest during that fucking award show, and he was wearing a bulletproof vest during his fucking halftime performance. Because he has to fear what? That Christian love, y'all. He literally has to wear a Bible suit because of that Christian fucking love. That's the mother shit people need to be talking about. That's the shit right there. Because let's be clear. Let's be very fucking clear. The type of motherfucker that Bad Bunny has to wear a bulletproof vest because of are white Christians and their allies. Because you know a coon will do anything for master. You know the coons will do anything for master, okay? But he ain't wearing that shit because he fears black people. He ain't wearing that shit because he's afraid of brown people. He ain't wearing bulletproof vests because he's afraid of Muslims. He ain't wearing a bulletproof vest because the godless, woke, leftist, atheists are going to take him all the way up out of here. Okay, he's not wearing a fucking bulletproof vest because he's worried about Hindus or Buddhists or the Amish, none of that shit, okay? He's wearing a bulletproof vest because he's afraid of white Christians. Also knows he lives in a country that will not really actually protect you from violence from white Christians, but that's another conversation for another day.
tolerate, affirm, and celebrate everything other than biblical Christianity. And that's an arbitrary man-made definition. But God rightly defines love, but for now and eternity. And love is an action done for the benefit of another, often at cost to self, ultimately displayed by God for us through Christ on the cross. And so that's a biblical definition of love. And love is rooted in God's nature and His truth. Therefore, something not rooted in God's nature and truth is not loving. 1 Corinthians 13, that great love passage says, love does not rejoice at wrongdoing. Things that are wrongdoing, love does not rejoice in. Love rejoices in the truth in every area. Funny enough.
And again, like what are you saying? Like, so he's literally trying to say love doesn't rejoice in wrongdoing. So that the things that Bad Bunny is in support of is not the things we should be celebrating because they're clearly wrongdoing. And this is what I mean about just the open fucking hatred that these motherfuckers deal with. And then we have these liberal ass motherfuckers that want to give us the fucking soft pedaled version of this. Like, honestly, it makes me want to fucking hurt people. It really does. Because it's like fuck you. Fuck you. If you see how these people really roll, and then you want to come give me some soft as baby shit version of this, fuck you. Fuck you. You are fucking controlled opposition.
We see a good example of love in the TPUSA halftime show with Kid Rock.
That's a good example of love.
Hang with me, all right? At the end, he actually...
Again, a man who literally has a song about fucking underage girls. Literally has a song about fucking underage. Literally says they call that statutory, I call that mandatory. Not to mention his biggest song, Ball with the Ball, was like a lefty song. It was all about his love and support for the marginalized. But see, that's back when he was relevant. Now that he's irrelevant, he's converted himself into a fucking right-wing meme.
It gives a gospel presentation.
There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins, hanging from the cross. You can give your life to Jesus and he'll give you a second chance till you can't.
Kid Rock actually is doing something very loving. He's telling what is the ultimate eternal truth and then pointing them to the ultimate eternal love, which is found in God and Christ alone. Love is the answer, but only as we look at it through a biblical lens.
See, so at the end of the day, Bad Bunny literally started his fucking performance off with God Bless America, and ended it with the only thing more powerful than hate is love. And these motherfuckers found a way to hate that. And this is the lesson that the liberal retards need to fucking learn. This is the message the fucking liberal retards need to. Yes, libtards, I'm talking to I'm talking to your white ass. Yes, libtards, talking to you. You need to understand they hate you more than they hate me. You need to understand they hate you more than they hate me. Because if my black ass got up there to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show, I would never say God Bless America. And I wouldn't bother talking about the only thing more powerful than hate is love. Because to be honest with you, I don't even think that shit is true. The world I live in almost is by definition the one that as a result of hate seems to be a lot more powerful than love. Y'all motherfuckers that want to tell me that love is more powerful than hate, you need to show me, bitch. Show me, bitch. Where? Where's the evidence that love is more powerful than hate? But I get it. Some delusions, y'all, we just need some things we just need to tell ourselves to keep going. But my point really, for real, is they hate y'all asses. Think about that. That God Bless America is not enough unless it's their narrative of what that really means. The only thing more powerful than hate is love. Fuck off, fuck out of here, unless it's their definition of love. So all you fucking liberals running around like, oh, what we really need to do is make peace with them and have the lovey-dovey Christianity. These people ain't never gonna be collaborators with you. They are trying to fucking tell you, if you stand in solidarity with the fucking DEI, if you stand in solidarity with the fucking LGBTQ, you are the motherfucking enemy too. And they hate you even more because to them, you are taking up space in their Christian space, like in their Christian fucking cult. Like you are trying to fucking soft pedal fundamental Christian core truths. And to them, a fundamental Christian core truth is there's no such fucking thing as love without their interpretation of their biblical God. Their message is literally like the world can't know real love. What love without the biblical God and the biblical Jesus? Fuck that. That's not fucking love. That's that secular bullshit. The secular version of love. That shit isn't love. That's not even real shit. They're telling you what they really think about you. You just don't want to hear it. All right, so that's just their shorts, right? Like that's literally, and it just shows you, right? They start, oh, it's just God. Oh, there's a difference between a good idea and a God idea. We just want everybody to love our Bible and cherish it just like us. And then it slips into showing you exactly what biblical literalism is. Well, where exactly on the map can we find the Garden of Eden? Because people ask me this all the time, and it's just such a good question. But based on the fact that you understand that the Noah's flood would have changed the surface of the earth, like that's the type of silliness that we're gonna have to get into when this biblical worldview takes the fuck over. And if you think that your fucking liberal fucking friends are not fucking the type of people that subscribe to the Answers in Genesis nonsense, you are playing yourself. My fucking mama asked me about Answers in Genesis. That's the fucking problem. Y'all dumbasses, every time y'all see the bad shit, y'all want to point it to the Christians over there. No, yo liberal Christian friends, they subscribe to this bullshit too. Yo liberal Christian friends believe the Bible, dumbass. Yo, liberal Christian friends won't take my evolution class either. Because they don't like Darwin. You think I don't know what that means? If you don't know what that means, you're a fucking idiot. I know what the fuck it means because my goddamn job. So here's what I really wanted to show y'all. This is what y'all need to understand about these people. So we go to fucking Answers in Genesis. We got to fucking, here we go. Share this tab instead. Here's Ken Ham's blog. Now keep this in mind. I'm gonna pull up something else related. Y'all will see where we going in a second. So back in 2019, Ken Ham wrote a blog post because I was trying to show that these people are actually against consent. Because again, people want to act like they're just against evolution, but they don't want to recognize how much this fucking mainstream Christian culture in this fucking country even hates fucking the concept of fucking consent, playing in our goddamn faces about it. So check this out. He wrote a blog in 2019. It says, "Next in the sexual revolution, children. We've been warning about it for years. Once a culture abandons the authority of God's word, then anything goes. Our culture has redefined sexuality to the point where the only remaining ethic is quote unquote consent." I don't know why it's in air quotes. "A completely arbitrary standard, and who or what defines consent is an increasingly thorny issue. What's to stop the redefinition from including children, multiple partners, or even animals?" And that's exactly what we see now at an increasing rate. I've talked about it, the growing rise of polyamory and the attempt to get it redefined as just another sexual orientation. Well, now the same thing is happening with pedophilia. Activists are claiming it's just another sexual orientation, and some are going as far as to make the argument kids can decide for themselves how to express themselves and shouldn't be denied a choice in how they are identified, no matter how young they are. They claim children are sexual beings too, and who are we to deny a consenting child that right? Read the full article from the Federalist. Some may say this is still a fringy stuff, but radical sex education curriculums, drag queen story hours at public libraries, and the growing sexual content in children's programming are only going to increase the sexualization of our children. What our culture is pushing is dangerous, and it's simply the logical consequence of the sexual and gender revolutions. As Romans chapter 1 outlines, don't be deceived. Those revolutions aren't satisfied with the legalization of gay, quote unquote, marriage and the acceptance of transgender ideology. More is coming. All right, so you get the vibe, hopefully. Now let's figure this out. So again, this is March 28th, 2019. And you can see Ken Ham is very, very concerned about children. Very concerned about children. Well, let's look at Ken Ham's blog. This is Ken Ham's blog today, February 15, 2026. Help equip you this President's Day. We're offering 20% off faith-based building resources. We're 20% off faith building resources store-wide. February 14th is Valentine's Day, and I challenge you men to treat your Valentine like Job, like Job treated his. Oh, Lord. We're already halfway through February, and that means we're halfway through our exciting 20% off admission promotion. A New York court sided with a detransitioner named Fox Varian, holding doctors accountable for pressing her into an irreversible surgery at a young age. Many Christian parents and students look into Christian colleges, but it's important to know that not all Christian colleges are good choices. It's called the first 3 steps in choosing a Christian colleges. We're hiring for the spring season. New coalition greater than seeks to overturn gay marriage for this sake of children. Did God give us 2 books? New research matches dragon legends to dinosaurs. Explore the Creation Museum's new Radiance exhibit. New study shows grandparenting as health planet. Bird footprints 60 million years before birds evolved. Does viral video disprove classic Christian apologetics? Billboard claims Jesus is not God. What does the Bible say? Visit us in February and receive 20% off. Canadian woman euthanized against her will. Is America turning against gay people? Why does Earth have glaciers? Radiance exhibit now open at the Creation Museum. Chinese young people are losing hope. Where's the Epstein files? He was so worried about the children, so worried that consent, so worried that talking about consent, the thing that we actually know stops children from being sexually abused, teaching them about consent, teaching them about what is and is not appropriate, teaching them how to express themselves when someone tries to do something to them that's inappropriate, teaching them to recognize something that's inappropriate so that they can report it to the proper adult figure. I thought consent was the thing that would help prevent the sexual assault of children. But nevertheless, he was so worried back in 2019 that teaching this concept of consent was going to open the floodgates to polyamory, child fucking, and animal fucking. Now we find out that the president of the United States is involved in the largest sex trafficking ring in human history, along with all the billionaires and powerful people from around the world. And these people have nothing to say. Nothing. That is why I proposed the fucking social experiment that I did, that all of us take our asses to church this weekend just so we can see how many, let's say 100 of us go to church. Let's say instead of watching Hot Program this afternoon, 100 of us had gone to church this morning. How many of those sermons do you think would have been about the Epstein files? Because my guess is 0. This is why I don't let motherfuckers play in my face about Christianity being about morality. Because again, the morality is the fucking sales pitch. Once you get into that bitch, morality is morality. What a fucking joke. Let's get back to work.
This is supposed to be the loving, caring God, right? This is So basically what this is saying is you can do everything right. You can do everything right, and then God will go out of your way to put you in harm's way for a bet that nobody else had anything to do with. For funsies, basically, to prove himself right because he knows all, right? So it's giving just for funsies. Let's torture this man. But you can't kill him. You can't kill him. So just torture him for funsies. And basically Satan was like, cool. And then Satan went out of the presence of the Lord. He was like, okay, I can do that. No problem. I mean, this is the thing you want, right? One day when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, once again, just sibling bonding time, a message came to Job and said the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabaeans attacked and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was speaking, another messenger came and said the fire of God fell from the heavens and burnt up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. And while he was speaking, another messenger came and said the Chaldeans, sure, formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camel and made off with them. They put the servants to the sword, and I'm the only one who escaped to tell you. And while he was speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the four corners of the house. It collapsed on them and they're all dead. I'm the only one who escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up, tore his robe, and shaved his head. Like, I understand. I too would go full Britney at this.
Think about this shit. He just turns this man over to Satan, and then like his fucking children die, like just wiped out. Like, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert, struck the four corners of the house, it collapsed on them, and they are dead. Like, how? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, how, y'all? Like, how? Like, just watch the channel, y'all. Subscribe. This is why I go after all the fucking lefties and the motherfucking atheists for the liberal whitewashing of Christianity. Because this is the Christian God. They worship a monster. There's no way out of that. When you go to recast a monster into like a lovable person, like you're a predator. I'm sorry. Ooh, sorry. A little bit of must it must be the whiskey. Ooh, y'all, it must be the whiskey. It must be the whiskey, but listen up, libtards and white atheists. When you go to recast a monster as a motherfucking nice guy, when you go to recast a monster as a motherfucking nice guy, when you are the reason that people keep platforming sexual assault, sexual rarity. Wait, no, I actually meant sexual assault. When you are the reason people keep platforming the motherfucking rapist, you are a motherfucking predator. And that is what the fuck y'all do with Yahweh. Oh, I prefer the nice story. So then people get sucked in with the nice story. And then since this shit is narcissistic abuse, the shit gets flipped on them. And then the fucking pain and the oppression and the goddamn torture come. But that makes it comfortable for you. So you good with that because you don't really give a shit what happens to people once they're in the fucking cult. So yeah, I said what I said. When you take up the fucking marketing, when you take up the fucking PR on behalf of the motherfucking monster, you're a fucking predator. Congratulations.
This point, then he fell to the ground in worship. It sounds like an anxiety attack, and said, naked I come before my mother's womb. Naked I came from my mother's womb. Oh, sorry, that was a Freudian slip of power. But that's not how the story goes. Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord taketh away. May the name of the Lord be praised. Sounds like psychosis. Last line in chapter 1 is, in all this Job did not sin by charging God with any wrongdoing. Now, isn't that interesting? Now, let's just do a quick body count. So Job has 10 kids, 7 sons, 3 daughters. That means that his wife gave birth, created, knit together in her womb, and pushed out of her vagina, enter a whole orifice. 10 human beings. Nobody's talking about that. Right? So we got 10 humans created that were also killed because God wanted that. God thought that would be like a fun thing, that
literally for no fucking reason,
to see
like
if Job would be like, hey, God, not cool. So 10 humans killed, not to mention the insane.
But look, that is exactly why this country is a cult, because what are the people doing now? This is what they're conditioned to do, right? They're conditioned to take all of the bad shit that happens and reframe it as a test from God, right? And then no matter how bad things get, you must remain faithful to God. This is why you can't fucking liberalize this shit. It's why you can't soft pedal this shit. Soft culting is Christianity super. Oh God, I have to do videos on these things. I don't have time. Listen, y'all, soft culting is basically the idea that it's very easy for people to point to other cults and other groups that have more extreme behaviors, what I call hard culting. So when you say cult, you think of hard cults, right? You think of places where you have to drink the fucking Kool-Aid and put a purple sheet over your head and die. You think of places where you have to move to a commune. You think of cults where you have to they limit your contact with the outside world. They force you into very specific occupations. They are restrictive about who you can socialize with. They make you move to different parts of the country or different parts of the world. So, they're extreme with the diet. The list goes on. And so those are the things you now associate with the term cult. And so then when another cult comes along and they don't do those things, it's very easy for you to say, oh, well, they're not a cult. No, they're still a fucking cult, right? They are just softer, okay? And so I'm going to eventually do a thing about that, but I want to do like a whole scripted video, and I never have time to do scripted videos. But anyway, that is soft culting, right? That's the principle. It's that it's easy for Christianity in this case to be socially accepted and normalized, because even though it's a cult, it doesn't have those more extreme elements. So it's easy for people to, let it get by, essentially. And so, yeah, like that's a huge problem, because it already does that. Like, in other words, that's already Christianity's superpower. So when people think that they're being like super clever or like super critical, or like even they fool themselves into thinking that they're being progressive by like softening Christianity, it's like, no, you're just doing the thing Christianity already does. And all you're doing is contributing to its ability to further harm people. All you're doing is upholding its hegemony. All you're doing is taking all of the horrible shit that results from it and calling it a misunderstanding and saying that the people who did that weren't true Christians and the real Christianity is something we'd all love and accept. Like, see, it's like you're doing their work for them. And if you understood that soft culting is their superpower and that soft culting is what contributes to them being the most dominant cult on the goddamn planet, you would understand that's literally something you can't do, right? Again, or take it to the Uncle Bobby angle. The Uncle Bobby angle is that it's battered spouse syndrome, right? And he says it's battered spouse syndrome because battered spouse syndrome is the 4 hallmarks: the belief that your abuser is omnipresent, the belief that the abuse is your fault, the belief that you find your hope and sense of purpose in your abuser, and the belief that if the abuser cannot get to you, they will harm your loved ones, right? And those are all 4 irrational beliefs that result from being a battered spouse. And yes, all 4 of them apply to Christianity. And so what is Uncle Bobby's solution? And again, you should take this very seriously, because this man is a women's self-defense instructor. It is his job to recognize when he sees these 4 signs, and it's also his job to help people understand how to support and prevent this type of abuse. So what does he tell us you have to do when you know someone is a battered spouse? He says, no matter what, you never, ever legitimize the abuser. You never adopt the abuser's narrative. You never indicate support for the abuser. In other words, you never soft pedal the abuse. Because if you do, you are reinforcing the trauma bond of the victim to the abuser. So when the victim says, well, he is a really good lover, I mean, yeah, I know he fucks me all the way up, but when he puts it down, that dick is so good, you never go, oh, girl, well, yeah, I know. Woo, you right, because it is real hard to leave a man when the dick is good. Oh, well, he's such a good provider and we live in this wonderful home and our children go to these awesome schools and our children have like so many great friends and I didn't sign a prenup. So like, oh, I don't know what my life would be financially without him. You never go, you're right, girl. You're right, girl. Your money going to be all the way fucked up. You know what I'm saying, girl? Like, I get it. Like he fucks you all the way up, but I'm saying like, the house is laid out. The house is laid out, girl. The house is laid out. Oh, well, he's so respected in the community and he's such a good business leader and everyone loves the way he coaches the kids' soccer team. And if I really just left or God forbid people found out what he's doing, it would just do so much damage. Well, you're right, girl, because you share that last name. And, it wouldn't just be embarrassing for him. It might be kind of embarrassing for you if do y'all hear how fucked up that is? Does it sound obvious in the case of a battered spouse? Why isn't it obvious in the case of Yahweh? You don't soft pedal the abuse. You don't soft pedal the abuser. You don't construct a nicer narrative on the abuser's behalf. That's the exact opposite of how you handle this. But that is exactly what people do with Christianity. And when I see leftists and progressives and all of these people who's supposed to know better do it, it's fucking disgusting. When I see motherfuckers who supposedly have fucking deconverted and deconstructed and left the church, and you're still fucking whitewashing Christianity, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Amount of burnt offerings, aka slaughtered animals that were offered up to God over the course of their lifetimes, right? We cannot count how many animals were killed for Job hoping to protect his kids. But for humans, let's keep it at 10 for now. Why? Because now I don't like using ChatGPT. I don't. It's not for me. But there was no other way for me to find this information. So we start with 7,000 sheep. All gone. And I asked, how many people does it take to take care of all of these animals? So when it comes to shepherds, it was between 25 to 35 shepherds. Mind you, in the beginning of this that I just didn't include, it says that this is a conservative number. So conservatively, between 25 to 35 shepherds. When it comes to the camels, 3,000 camels. That is going to be between 75 to 150 camel herders.
Damn.
When it comes to oxen, that is 1,000 oxen. And so for one handler will handle around 20 to 30, which would mean that is anywhere between 25 to 50 workers, human beings. Then you have donkeys, 500 donkeys, 15 to 25 workers. And then you have just like overseers, guards, support staff. That's going to add around like 10 to 20. So God murdered anywhere between 150 to 280 people for a game that no one else is playing, to prove a point that nobody asked him to prove. Bodies, bodies, bodies. Now, there's more to the story. If you guys are interested in having a discussion, a little deconstruction Bible study about the more to the story, please let me know in the comments, and maybe we can make that happen. But this is why I think that deconstructing, or at least looking at these stories objectively, is so important. Like, you're allowed to believe whatever it is that you want to believe. No heat, no judgment. I really mean that. I'm also saying that the amount of death, the amount of what the Bible considers necessary death, allows for spaces, administrations, countries, entities that are rooted with this scripture at its core, also has an idea of necessary deaths for the concept of a greater story, for the concept of a lesson. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the lesson doesn't hit that hard, if you ask me. When we put all the context, when we put all the blood together, the lesson doesn't hit. The lesson just doesn't hit. And again, what is the lesson? What is the lesson?
What is the lesson? The story of Jesus is ass. The story of Jesus is ass. What? Again, it's God sacrificing a perfect human to serve his own ego. And then the real point is the threat. The real point is the threat. The real point is, if you don't believe in the sacrifice of his perfect son, then you still get fucked all the way up eternally. So it's not a moral story. Can't be a moral story when the purpose of it is evil, the end is evil, the goal is evil, all the outcomes are evil. And again, it's totally narcissistic. The only people who think it's good are the people who assume that they're the ones who get eternal life that nobody else is entitled to, knowing good and goddamn well that their story means most humans throughout most of human history would be in hell. So fuck the story. This is what I mean. But we live in a cult. We live in a cult. Like when adults are not capable of questioning this, realizing that it's bullshit. And I do have heat and judgment for believers. Listen, I just don't give a fuck. Like I can separate your legal rights from pushback. Like, you have the legal right in this country to practice your religious beliefs. Cool. That doesn't mean I have to respect your religious beliefs. Doesn't mean I have to agree with them. Doesn't mean I have to hold space for them. Doesn't mean I have to listen to them. And it definitely doesn't mean I have to I don't respect them. And I don't respect you as a grown person not being able to question them. That at some point is you. And I get also that people are victims. I do believe that believers are victims of the cult, and I understand that. But at a certain point in life, I am a college professor, so I have a certain prejudice, but I do tend to give a lot of grace for people who are the age of my students. And the reason is because they're young adults, and they're in their first few years of life on their own, their first few years of life figuring out who they are. And so, yeah, they show up to college very much who their family and upbringing has molded them to be. And they are very much in the earliest stages of their independent, autonomous identity development. But I think once you really get into that 25 plus space, certainly that 30 plus space, is one of those situations where my honest thoughts is like, it isn't your fault. It may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility. It may not be your fault that you were indoctrinated into this cult. It may not be your fault that you have these erroneous beliefs. But it is your responsibility to do something about it. You're the only person that can. And at some point, yeah, like we just have to hold people responsible for examining their beliefs. And if they're unwilling to, that needs to be socially sanctioned. Like, okay, cool. Like, you're right. You do have the right. You have the legal right to believe whatever you want. But especially because, let's face it, the only reason we care about people's beliefs is because it does influence their behavior, which is why, again, the liberal mythology of, oh, you can believe whatever you want as long as it doesn't, affect how you vote or affect how you treat other people. You never hear me say that. Why do you never hear me say that? Because that's not how beliefs work. It'd be irresponsible of an anthropologist to say that. If I heard another anthropologist say that, I'd want to slap him in the face. Are you kidding me? Because again, Anthropology 101 is teaching that, especially cultural anthropology 101 is teaching people that beliefs inform practices. That's the very basics. Like, it's like if you don't know anything, if you don't learn anything else in cultural anthropology class, you should learn that like beliefs are, like culturally, like people are enculturated into beliefs, and that enculturation and those beliefs lead to their practices and their behavior. So, it is what it is. So yeah, I just appreciate her message. Appreciate the way she was on point with that. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I got a lot of work to do. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in.